The Inside Xbox Series X gameplay reveal. Cyberpunk 2077 has customizable genitals. The Nintendo Switch and Animal Crossing New Horizons sales numbers. And we break down Geoff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. This is a Sidescape Game Report. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sidescape Game Report for the week of May 4th to May 8th. This is James St. Charles and I'm Jake Burke. Let's talk about that Xbox Series X gameplay reveal. James, what were your overall first impressions of what they called the first reveal of Xbox Series X gameplay?
I shouldn't have woken up.
Right? Underwhelming as hell.
But the other titles were pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, so and we'll go through all the titles, but like what were some highlights of it?
Well, we had my favorite, Yakuza, came out. We had a lot of like these studios that have made games before come out with newer games.
Yep.
So Layers of Fear devs coming out with a new title.
Yeah, which is The Medium.
That one game that I was like hating on, but I looked it up and they've done some good. Bright Memory.
Yep.
Where they made like a demo game and now they're making like a full game.
The full
one
game
guy.
It looks really great.
Pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, when you were spouting shit on it, I was like, wow, it actually looks really good
on
on
it. It's
it.
a $10 demo, and it was like, that irks me when you pay for a 30-minute game.
That makes sense.
It looks good, but...
It looks really pretty. So, overall impressions, I thought it was very underwhelming and very under-marketed, where they were touting...
There was nothing.
The big thing, too, is Assassin's Creed. We joked about it, too, but this was the gameplay reveal of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they just showed in-game engine cinematic trailers. There was
it's underwhelming because the other trailer is amazing. Like the first trailer they come out with, absolutely amazing. One of the best trailers they've come out with. And then you show this trailer, and it's just like a regular like in-game engine trailer. If it was gameplay, it's like perfect, boom, yep, yeah, that's what we want to see.
I thought we were going to see like a battle or something with your character, and he see the HUD, and this is what the game's going to look like. Nothing. I was like, this is crazy. But then they
called it gameplay footage. Like it would have been fine with like, oh, it's just in-game engine footage. No, they were like doubling down. Gameplay.
And they market it as
like
that.
That's false advertisement.
Yeah, so a little bit just a backstory. So this was the first reveal of Series X gameplay, which I think was a little underwhelming for a lot of people because they touted it as it, but we're all watching it on 1080p monitors, so we're not seeing like the 4K like resolution while
4K.
streaming and all this.
We won't be unless we're buying 4K TVs.
Exactly. So they did mention in the beginning 343 Industries came on and said that there will be an Xbox Studios game reveal in July sometime. So we are going to get like first parties. This is all third parties. I'm going to run through the games and we'll talk kind of bullet points on each of them. So the first one that we were seeing was Bright Memory Infinite by indie studio FYQD, which was developed by one person. This was the demo that you were a little salty on.
Yeah, it's just the dev borrowed assets and people were like hating on that and kind of slapped together like a pretty turd, which is what I call like a polished turd.
Yeah, you did.
Because there was like no substance to the game, and then now I guess he got money because someone looked at it and saw, hey, there's potential.
Yeah, what we saw looked really cool. It was a first-person shooter with like a samurai sword, and you're in like a neo-future world, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, you could grapple.
Yeah,
so it looked fun. Like it looked like it has potential.
They grappled a lot in that trailer. I noticed. I was like, this is a big gameplay mechanic. Okay, but it looks really
ray
cool.
Tracing. So it just newer technology, a game, basically.
And then we got Dirt 5 from Codemasters, which is another racing game that now has rally cars, apparently, which is, I didn't realize that had never been done. Maybe, I don't know.
Really?
It was very. We were watching it with our friend Ted, and Ted was like, "Oh, they got rally cars. This is huge." And I was like, "I feel like other games have done this." Like,
yeah.
But
I thought that was
Troy Baker and Nolan North are in it.
Like they were like, hey, guess who we have?
Yeah.
The two most common voices in all of game history.
It was so funny.
Like it's like, they're like, they got that.
Yeah. Such a big deal. But so what did you think of it? I mean, it looks pretty.
Yeah, Forza looks pretty. So is this gonna be like they didn't show anything different?
Yeah.
It's just the normal
footage. And in July they're gonna show Forza and it's gonna be this powerhouse in graphics and it's just gonna shadow this game. It's like it felt like a weird reveal. Like we don't have a ton.
Looked like it was like here's all the games that we don't want to like have at our big conference. That's what it looked like. It's like, hey, look what we have, but it's just like MIDI thing.
Yep, that's how I felt. Then you have Scorn, which was the weird alien-looking trailer by
So this game actually has already been made. It's like just been remade. Is that what?
Kind of, right? That's
or
what it
ported?
seems like.
Or
yeah,
what?
I couldn't get a clear read on it, but it's like apparently it's already a game that's existed.
Yeah,
and it is a horror game. Which was there's a lot of horror games on this during this presentation.
Yeah, it's a lot of horror.
A lot of horror games. I don't know. Eb Scorn looked kind of weird. Then you had Chorus Rise as one. Developer was Fish Labs, and it's published by Deep Silver, which was a space shooting, almost like Star Foxy looking game.
A lot really of Cyberpunk space type games.
God, we are in for a sleuth of Cyberpunk games. I mean, the game looked cool, but like we were saying, it looked a lot like Control with like the floating pillars and the lots of reds and stuff. And it's like, okay.
Control aesthetic, basically.
Yeah. So, anything jump out at you in that game or what?
Yeah, we'll see. Because it's like, it could be good, but the story probably has to hold it. I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of those types of games. And then you had Patrick Mahomes introduce Madden 21. But it really just introduced the history of Madden and then showed like 2 seconds of Madden 21 gameplay.
Which looks like Madden 20, which looks like Madden... Like, it doesn't look any different.
Yeah. Very weird. Just like kind of a weird break of like, okay, I guess, yeah, Madden is coming.
Yeah.
Vampires Masquerade Bloodlines 2 by Hardsuit Labs. This actually looked really freaking cool.
I like it. Yeah.
Really cool trailer with, what was the song? Donkashane from Ferris Bueller's, of course. But just really interesting kind of game. Apparently the first one is incredible, like RPG masterpiece. And this one was super eerie and creepy and looked dope. Then you had Call of the Sea, which was, I think, the game you and I probably most interested in. The developer by Out of Blue, and it looked like a vibrant Witness kind of puzzle game.
My favorites.
Oh God!
Like it looked like I'd want to like get deep in that story and solve some puzzles.
And I felt like this was the first time in this whole like sequence of trailers that we were like, oh, that looks kind of different than what I've seen before. Like they're just, because it's not like graphically impressive, right? Like what's going on in the environment seemed like, oh, this is next gen. Like look at all the things moving and like how the water's interacting, even though it is like a cartoon-esque water, like the way it interacted looked different.
Yeah, that water looked good, even though it was cartoon-esque.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of like an interesting, I was like, oh, that actually looks really good. Then you had The Ascent from Neo Giant, which was the other Cyberpunk-like game that was a top-down, twin stick shooter looking game.
I don't know, like a Diablo Cyberpunk. Like I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but it is like a top-down shooter.
It could be great, but like again, it's just like
it could be StarCraft 3. Who knows?
What is this? Yeah, it could be StarCraft 3. Then you had The Medium, which is I think the game that's getting a lot of hype.
I like this game.
Yes, by a Blopper team. The Labors of Fear dev. The weird thing was how they introduced the game, I think, with like a CG trailer, and then they showed like snippets of gameplay that looked really interesting.
Yeah, and then they had like the interviews afterwards. But I think the main takeaway is that they have the composer from Silent Hill, both Silent Hill games. But they're like, oh, what was your inspiration? And it was like, oh, Silent Hill 2. They think it's the best of the series. And Layers of Fear heavily has elements from Silent Hill. That was like the Layers of Fear 1 is the best. 2 was kind of like they were rushed because they were working on another game.
Okay.
So it's not as good. And then this is like their game that back to their roots. So hopefully it's a good one. It looked good.
It looks cool.
The trailer had elements of Silent Hill with like everything like disintegrating. Like
the trailer didn't do much for me, but then like once they kind of showed like the snippets of gameplay and like almost like a compilation montage, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Like, why didn't you show like the horror elements instead of like this woman?
They're pretty good. I know you're
blood.
not into a lot of scary games, but Layers of Fear, it was when it came out, it was like top of the line quality edge, like really, really clean game.
That's what
I've heard. Similar to like the PT game. Like that good quality.
Yeah. No, I'm interested in it. And then you had Scarlet Nexus, which was the anime Bandai Namco game that looked like every other Platinum Bandai Namco anime slasher.
Yes.
The only cool part of this trailer was when the guy got hooked up with like the plugs and then rock music played. He like got energized by rock, and I was like, that's cool. And then they never touched that.
I think it could be fun. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, but yeah, Bandai Namco just makes these kind of anime stereotypical games, and they're always not good, except for the Ni no Kunai series. Yeah, which is good, but that's it.
They're always like kind of B tier, like
poop these games out.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Then you had Second Extinction, which we all thought was gonna be Turok or something.
And everyone was like Turok.
So it's a dinosaur co-op shooter. There's 3 people. I read some about this game because they had a whole thing on Xbox. You did not get this by the trailer, by the way. It was just them shooting dinosaurs. But it is a 3-person co-op shooter where you fight off hordes of dinosaurs in different levels.
That's fun.
And it's by Systemic Reaction, which looks really cool. I mean, looked pretty.
Yeah, it looked pretty.
It did have the indie thing of like the shooting doesn't look quite right. Like it's like very stiff shooting. And that's just how the trailer looked a little bit.
Yeah.
So then you had Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yes.
So what did this do for you with this game?
I mean, it's a new Yakuza series because it's like the old series is kind of ended. This is like the new take, but it has elements of the old Yakuza characters, so it could be interesting. And it's also not a new game.
Right.
It's already been released.
It's on PlayStation, right?
It's just a US release, I guess.
Okay, is it not on PS4
Yeah, it's on PlayStation
yet?
Japan. PlayStation Japan.
Gotcha, but not on PS4 yet.
It's not English
okay.
yet, so it's coming.
Basically. Yeah, I thought that was a weird announcement, especially because they labeled it as a world premiere. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh, Yakuza, and it was like, oh, this is the game that already came out.
Yakuza, yeah.
That's
because I was like, wait, is this a new one? And then it was like, no, it's the turn-based one that people were mad about when it turned out to be turn-based.
Is Yakuza on Xbox? Yeah, because it's on Game Pass.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Okay. And then you had kind of the biggest letdown in a very long time, which was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I am so excited for. And they're like, you're going to see gameplay, Jake. And I was like, yeah. And then they're like, okay, here's a cinematic trailer that kind of runs an engine. Thanks.
And the engine was like, nothing too impressive here. Like,
no, it's like, hey, guess what?
Okay,
do you know in a Viking game, you get to ride in boats? Cool.
Like, things you expected was in there. And it's like, okay, after you had that really great trailer, you're going to post this and not gameplay?
And tout it as gameplay. That's the part that really frustrated me.
Yeah, and then in the interview, like, oh, that was a really good gameplay. Like not sarcastic at all.
Like, I wonder if Xbox like thought they were getting something more, and then this is what they got, and the guy was like, "Okay, you got to just like really pitch that was gameplay because we don't really have it yet." Like that, it made me nervous.
Yeah, that they had to know, or like someone really seriously dropped the ball. Like, I want to see who's getting who's getting like reamed for this, because that's like almost false advertisement. When you tell everyone, "Hey, we're having a gameplay reveal trailer," and it's not gameplay reveal.
The cinematic trailer for when they revealed the game, it ended with gameplay reveal at the Inside Xbox event. Is literally how it ended.
Something happened. Some miscommunication somewhere, like, or they literally do not know what gameplay means.
Yep. I saw a lot of that. What are your final thoughts on this Inside Xbox? I know we're getting one next month that is supposed to kind of go into more of the like console itself and the specs. And then the month after that sounds like we're getting first party. What are your thoughts?
I'll be more excited for the specs. Mm-hmm. Right now, like, it seems like they're just like, oh, here's some games, but it's nothing like, yeah, I'm gonna buy the Xbox Series X for Madden 21, or like, it's just there's nothing. The Assassin's Creed would have been like, oh, look how good it looks, like, but they didn't do that. It could have really drove the hype. Xbox is first for doing theirs. Mm-hmm. Now PlayStation's gonna answer back and clap them. Because like, that's basically what's gonna happen.
As we watched this, Ted, our friend that we were watching it with, was like, oh my god, I'm waiting for them to like release the pre-order. Like, and I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
What? I don't understand how this event would make you like, yes, I gotta have an Xbox Series X right now. Like, obviously, I think PlayStation has a lot of goodwill with like, here's the exclusives, and like you're getting these exclusives from our first parties. Xbox right now, I'm like, you got to show me what this Halo game is, because I'm after Gears Tactics.
They talked about it. They mentioned the Halo game.
They did, man.
And then they're like, oh, we'll see you in July.
Yep. That's just weird. You know what else is weird, James? Cyberpunk 2077 will let you customize your genitals. This comes from Joe Skebrels at IGN. The ESRB has published its rating report for Cyberpunk 2077, which includes a new bit of information about the game's character creator. You can now customize your character's genitals. Per the report, players can select a gender and customize their characters. Customizations include depictions of breasts, buttocks, and genitalia, as well as various sizes and combination of genitals. Which, if I can have big balls, that's what I'm going for.
Big balls.
Big balls, Burke. This would appear to be part of CD Projekt's Red decision to not include traditional gender options in games, instead for offering a really inclusive, expanded, customized creation menu. The report also makes mention that of in-game purchases, but CD Projekt Red has subsequently, I can't say that word to save my life. Subsequently, there it is, told IGN that these refer to the ability to buy future DLC expansions for the game, not microtransactions. As we've said before, said a spokesperson for the company, Cyberpunk 2077 is a single-player game with no microtransactions. The ESRB info is based on the fact that expansions require the base game and therefore treated as purchased by the rating board.
That's correct. So that's believable for the last part.
What do you think about customizing your genitals in a video game?
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing. Like, it's such a interesting idea that I'm surprised has not been done yet.
Yeah.
Maybe it has been done, but not to this extent. Like, from what I've read, it has a lot of options.
And it's never been done on this scale with like probably the biggest game of the year, right? Like the most exciting game, besides maybe that and The Last of Us, right? But like the biggest profile game is like, also you're gonna be able to make like your boobs really big. You can have a boobs and a penis and all of these things. You're like,
yep, you can have everything from what I heard.
All right. Did you? There is a little gameplay like clip that they showed basically with blurred stuff like increasing size and changing things. It's like, this is very interesting.
Yeah, that stuff's been done before. Like you could do bust size and butt size. That was always a thing. And I think there is one game where you can do genitalia like size, and that's Conan the Last Exile, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that game's like you run around naked basically.
Right.
But that's I haven't seen. Yeah, this is a AAA game of the year contender, face of the video game market.
Why not?
Everyone's gonna it's doing something controversial, and I like it.
I do. I mean, it's my favorite story of the week because who would have thought?
I loved it when I was like announced, and everyone was like, "Oh, hey, look at this!" Just like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Anyone who thought bad about it, like, was just like, "Ooh, man, gotta get your priorities straight there." Like,
whatever, man.
Yeah.
Let it happen.
This is gaming. Do what we want.
This is
gaming.
Anything. Exactly. Now, I want to get to something a little more serious than genitalia because that was just kind of a quick blurb.
Yes.
The Nintendo Switch passes 55 million lifetime sales in a strong year for Nintendo. This comes from Matthew Handerhan at gamesindustry.biz. Their financial fiscal report came out recently for their fiscal year, so this is all kind of the wrap-up of that. The Nintendo Switch has passed 55 million units sold in its fiscal year ended March 31st, 2020, boosted by strong performances of Animal Crossing and Pokemon. Nintendo earned $12.2 billion in the financial year, up 9% over an already strong fiscal 2019. The Japanese company made a profit of $2.4 billion, up 33% year on year. It was a good year for first-party software, with the Pokemon Sword and Shield reaching 17.37 million units by the end of March, and Animal Crossing New Horizons selling 11.77 million units despite launching just 11 days before the end of the accounting period. Holy crap! They sold 1 million copies a day, almost 1.5 million. Animal Crossing New Horizons' strong performance continued with the game reaching 13.4 million units in the 6 weeks to follow its launch. Luigi's Mansion 3 and Super Mario Maker 2 also performed well, and Nintendo said that 27 Switch games sold 1 million units during the fiscal year. Overall, 169 million units of software were sold on the Switch during the fiscal year 2020, up 42% year over year. Nintendo said that of the revenue earned through software, 34% came from digital sales, a significant increase of the 24.8% share in the prior year.
I expect it to go up, especially during now when you can only get digital. So they might see like a fluctuation next year. It might go down a little bit, but I hope that doesn't discourage them to like keep promoting digital sales.
Right.
As that's pretty good. 34%. Wow.
That's a lot. Now, I think the two big numbers here to talk about are obviously we got to talk about Animal Crossing New Horizons. 13.4 million in like, what is it, 20 something days? That's insane. 6 weeks. That is nuts.
No, yeah, I don't think a game has done that well. Actually, it's not even the best game, right? Like that did that well for the Switch.
No, it's not their best launch.
That's amazing to me. Like how there's something that's better.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate had a better launch than this, which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone now has Switches. I think the problem right now is just the price because there's a lot of they can't make anymore.
Well, they can't make anymore. I mean, the price right now is not the problem for the Switch. People are buying it left and right. And there was more in the article that talked about like they sold, I think, 6 million Switch Lites, which was a pretty impressive number too, with like the not connectable.
For just the portable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great. And then
if you're just a portable gamer, then perfect.
Which is so funny because like I play my Switch a lot on the TV, and I feel like most people play it handheld, which is crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I just play mine on the TV all the time.
I feel like if I could play it on my TV, I would because I want big screen
and better resolution.
When you're in a portable environment, that's why.
Yeah.
Like if you're a kid, you just always like game. I always have my Game Boy Advance and Game Boy always with me. Like so, sometimes it's just better to have something portable. The light is pretty big.
Yeah, it's the same size. I mean,
it's not a Game Boy.
No, it's not a Game Boy anymore. It's not your daddy's Game Boy.
Yeah.
And of course, 55 million units for the Switch, which is awesome. I mean,
yeah, that's big. But what's the next cycle? How long has Switch has been? How many years has it been?
2017 is when the Switch came out.
Okay, so it's pretty young. So it's gonna probably have like a 2 more years of work.
I think you have another year before you get like a Switch Pro or 2.0 or something that is a bigger screen, less bezel. Maybe it's higher.
Switch XL.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I think you'll have a better resolution Switch or something, and then I don't think they go from the Switch for a while because they they kind of screwed up going from the Wii U really quickly and having that like.
We're going from Wii to Wii U.
Yeah, not a clear vision for what it is. And right now their vision is we are the Switch and this is what we are. So now, our final story of the day. I wanted to break down Geoff Keighley's Summer Game Fest event that he has touted that he has created. In E3's absence, he has touted a 4-month program of gaming events for us while we are at home. Which I think is really cool. Now this story comes from Jake Burke at Sidescape Game Report because I compiled the information myself.
Or did you write it all?
I did, except for the one thing I put in quotes, and I went.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, I saw a quote in here, but you could use quotes if you your original. So good job.
As you may be wondering, what is a Summer Game Fest? And then this comes from their website. Bringing the world together to celebrate video games from the comfort of our home, Summer Game Fest is a season of digital video game events from publishers, select playable content, in-game events, and more to be announced. So Geoff Keighley set up a summer-wide game event that ranges from May 7th inside Xbox, which was the event that happened yesterday for you guys, and we spoke about earlier, to Gamescom's opening night live on August 24th, right behind the most important day of the year, which is August 23rd, my birthday. The calendar events include, this is on their website, this is where I got this information about what they're doing. May 12th, surprise number 1, a game reveal is all it says. So I guess we're going to have to talk about next week. June 9th through June 14th, Steam Game Festival Summer Edition, which I'm curious if we'll get some demos for stuff that is being announced. I could see that happening. June 11th is Night City Wire, a special broadcast on Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red. I imagine this is where we'll get a lot of gameplay and finalized stuff and probably some information about the DLCs they've been talking about. June 11th also is EA Play Live, where EA is going to unveil a new slate of games.
Awesome.
July 11th. Did I say June 11th or July 11th back then?
You said June.
Okay, cool. Now we're on July 11th. Is TennoCon 2020. Yeah. Digital Extremes updates Warframe players on what's next. And then August 24th is Gamescom's opening night live, hosted by Geoff Keighley. And there will be more events to come when they are announced. Mm-hmm. Okay, before we get into the publishers that will be participating, thoughts on the Summer Game Fest?
So, quick question: does that take place the same week that E3 would have taken place?
Which
was it before?
Which one?
The June ones.
I believe yes, that they take place during E3's week, or EA Live is always the weekend before E3 week.
Oh, they do like their announcements before,
yeah,
and then it's E3. Yeah. So it's that same style.
So it's right before, yeah.
But without the event. Cool. Well, yeah. I hope to see more in here, but that's a really good list so far.
And I'm interested because he did brand today's event on May 7th, the Xbox thing, as a Summer of Games event. So it's obviously like he's kind of working with everybody to
coordinate the schedule, like make sure like no one's like stepping over each other.
Kind of what
that's
it seems.
Exactly what it's needed.
So I'm sure when we get the PlayStation PS5 reveal, it will be under this brand event because as we'll get there, they are one of the publishers.
Geoff is in such a great position where he has contacts and good relationships with all major video game publishers,
with everyone,
developers, every single person. Geoff is that guy. So we're so like I feel like we're spoiled with Geoff because he has the ability to create this event and have all these relationships and make sure like no one's stepping over each other because there's probably some like turmoil between companies like, oh hey, I want this, and he's that guy that can intermediate and make sure like they get their spot, they get their game reveals, and so far today's event successful, but like not. It's on Xbox. It's not on Geoff for that.
No, he's just orchestrating.
Successful in terms that like it happened. So I'm definitely, if more stuff like happens like that, boom, perfect.
Right. And I think we'll get like probably 5 or 6 more of these events. And I'm curious about these surprise events that he's like got, like where it's gonna be a game reveal. Like I'm curious if he has. I know, right? If he has a few more of those later on for like what it's going to be. Interesting. So I want to move to the participating publishers. The one big empty slot is Nintendo is not a part of this at all, which I think is kind of interesting. And I know that they're having.
But he's doing something with Reggie.
Yeah, but Reggie's not Nintendo.
I know, but he's doing something with Reggie, and Reggie has strings with Nintendo.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. They would be on this list in a heartbeat.
He has strings with Nintendo, though.
He does, but they would be on this list. That's a big name. So the participating publishers are 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, Digital Extremes, EA, PlayStation, Private Division, Riot Games, Square Enix, Steam, WB, and Xbox. Those are your publishers.
No Epic?
No Epic.
swear I thought
Maybe Epic is on there. Did I miss Epic?
I don't know. I thought I saw it on their website as like their.
I don't believe so, but who knows?
Yeah.
I can check right now. But I do think that Nintendo missing is very weird, and I know there are a lot of not rumors but reports that Nintendo right now is really struggling with producing and making their games from via at home, like stay at home order, and that has delayed a lot of like what was to come this year. And
really,
yeah, like their E3 conference, even though there's no E3, but like their digital conference is already pushed back to like late summer because they can't get it done.
I mean, that's what's happened with most companies. They were hit in the face right away. But interesting, they didn't have any like thing in place.
Yeah, right.
Get something going. Well, if they don't do anything, I mean, I guess it's okay. They're not hurting financially.
No, they are not. They're doing okay.
They could just chill. PlayStation really needs to come up though. Need to see something from them.
You will. There's going to be a big reveal event, and it'll be way more traditional than Microsoft's. It will be very much like, here's the PS5, here's the games you're playing.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to see a tease for God of War 2. We're going to see teases for things to come. There is no Epic Game Store or Epic Games on the Summer Game Fest list. Yeah. So, that was our first episode of the Soundscape Game Report. And that's our gaming news for the week. James, any final comments?
Let's see. There was some news that we didn't mention, but just a quick thing.
Yeah.
I was reading up on we were talking about like how this game Dying Light.
Oh yeah.
Dying Light 2
Mm-hmm.
is in development, and then it got pushed. And then there was a story that came out where there's actually no direction for the game.
Yeah.
Where it's actually it has a potential to basically not happen. Because the team is so scrambled, I forgot his name, but someone wrote the story and it was like set in stone. But then they changed the story. The developers like kind of like did their own thing and changed the way the quests work, and the whole system now doesn't work.
Jeez.
So, and they've scrapped it. Like they've kept remaking the game so many times that it might not come to fruition, which is really disappointing because Dying Light 1 is one of the best games I've played in terms of like the parkour and survival. That's all I need. I know your story was bad, but just make it good.
Just let me run on walls and fight zombies.
I don't care if there's fetch quests because the fetch quests are actually kind of fun in that game. So
yeah, interesting.
But that was like something came out with that. I don't know if it was rumors, but I just thought that was interesting.
That makes sense. The game was delayed indefinitely. We haven't heard anything since it was like delayed.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, and that is our gaming news of the week. We will be here every Friday to discuss gaming's biggest stories. Enjoy your weekend.